let's look at some of the offseason storylines. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen, we know Cooper Kupp is going to be traded. Myles Garrett has asked to be traded. Aaron Rodgers, we know he'll be on the Pat McAfee show, but not on the New York Jets. And there's questions about Sam Darnold. Let's start with Myles Garrett. Came out a little over a week ago, confirmed that he is requesting a trade from the Cleveland Browns. Mike, I'll start with you. What team do you think Myles Garrett will be on in 2025?
I just got the alert that Dak said that.
You're welcome.
Like it's on my phone right now.
That's funny.
Because I have something else that I want to say at the end of the show about Myles Garrett. I think he will move. I think he ends up being moved to the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. Sean.
It's not a bad play. I mean, there's obviously going to be a lot of teams calling. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. If Sweat and Graham are both off the roster, I think the Eagles are at least going to pick up the phone. I don't know if they'll fit him in contract-wise, but I like the Buccaneers as a possibility, and there's a couple other teams. But for me, the team that sticks out is a team that I think is going to spend a ton of money while they got one of the best quarterbacks in the league on a rookie contract. And unfortunately for James and I, that's probably going to be Washington. I feel like Washington's willing to give up 1 and 2 first round and second round probably because they realize the window they're in and how they have money to spend for the next few years. I think they're going to – I wouldn't be surprised if they're in a couple sweepstakes here trying to fill that roster.
Yeah, Washington was definitely a thought for me.
I hope not.
I hope not either. And really it kind of comes down to, what teams are kind of in that spot. Because I think if he's going to go somewhere, he's going to want to go somewhere that
it's
can
probably a team that was in the playoffs this year. That's where he's going to go.
Dark horse.
Can the Chargers afford him?
If they cut Bosa and Mac, they probably could.
Well, Mac's gone. Mac is definitely gone.
If they relieve Bosa, they have a shot. Fun dark horse, and it would be one of the scariest front fours in probably football history. Trade him to Vegas.
Ooh.
Put him and Max Crosby off.
Give Crosby a reason to stick around too.
Yeah. And Christian Wilkins at D tackle. Here you go, boys.
He's
Good luck, Pat.
And I mean, it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback.
Kelsey's like, I'm out. At that point, Kelsey's just like, that's it. I'm gone.
Trade me.
Taylor, I'm coming to warm up the jet.
But it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback.
Trapp's coming home
because you only need to score 9 points a game. Now, before we keep going down the offseason stuff, I do want to circle back because I did pull our season predictions.
Oh boy.
Cringe. Mike, you had the worst in terms of exactly correct picks.
Love me, baby.
You had the Lions winning the North, Texans winning the South, Chiefs winning the West. You had 4 additional playoff teams,
but not in the right spot.
Correct, just not in the right spot. EJ had 5 correct picks exactly, but no additional. He had Eagles, Lions, Eagles winning the NFC, and then Texans, Chiefs.
Suck it, Jaworski.
Student of the game had 4 exact, 2 additional. The 4 exact that he had were Eagles and Lions winning their divisions, Texans and Chiefs winning their divisions. Matt had 6 exact with 2 additional, so he did pretty well. Matt had Eagles, Lions, Texans, and Chiefs winning the division. Eagles as NFC champ, Eagles as Super Bowl champ. So he obviously got the big one there.
Homer.
I had I'll hit it for him. I'll hit it for him.
Homer.
I had 4 exact, 2 additional. My 4 exact: Eagles, Lions, Texans, and Chiefs winning division. But our big winner of the year was Sean. He had Rams and Bills making the playoffs, making the wild card. But he had 9 exact picks on the year: Eagles, Lions, Bucks, division champs; Ravens, Texans, Chiefs, division
champs. What was my
champs.
Super Bowl?
He had Eagles and Chiefs in the Super Bowl with the Eagles winning. So Sean got the big win in many ways this NFL season.
You ask and you shall receive, Mike.
There you go. You got him.
Mike's already drawn up his bracket for next year.
Homer.
I don't know who's going where.
But another big off-season discussion, and we talked about him a minute ago, is the Minnesota Vikings. The quarterback play of Sam Darnold came as a surprise to literally everybody, probably mostly to Sam Darnold. But a lot of questions on, will the Vikings try to franchise tag him? Are the Vikings going to make the play and actually sign him and move J.J. McCarthy before he ever plays a snap there? Or did the Vikings stay committed to J.J. McCarthy and let Sam Darnold go test the market? So, Sean, I'll start with you on this one. Where does Sam Darnold play in 2025, and is he a starter in 2025?
I think that, in my opinion, like the best odds are a tag. I feel like it's a safe move for the Vikings. It's going to cost them a lot, but I don't know what they had a great core. Otherwise, you already have great wide receiver. I don't know what you're really making a play for. I mean, and I think he starts early. I think they try to go back to I think you ease JJ in now instead of just throwing him to the Wolves, and I think you let him sit behind him, and you have that safety valve. Now, if they don't, and they try to offer him a contract, it's not going to be big enough. He's going to start somewhere. So he's either going to start the season as a starter in Minnesota with a tag, or he's going to go whoever's got – Sam, if they don't tag you, take the most money. I don't care what team. This is your only chance to finish getting paid. Go somewhere with low expectations and just suck if you want. Make sure there's guaranteed money in it and get paid. That's my advice for Sammy. But go start as many games as you can.
Mikey B.
The franchise tag right now is just shy of $40 million.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of money
for the quarterback. If they were to tag him, their cap space would go from $61 million to $22 million.
It's not a terrible number if you don't have a lot of holes. I don't know.
Correct. I mean, I obviously think they need to address some things, but they're not in.
And it's a 1-year problem, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
You're also not in the financial ruins that some other organizations are in. That being said, if I'm Sam Darnold and I'm looking at teams and not just the paycheck, but the ability to keep myself in a predicament where I can be part of a team that could get me to the playoffs, that could get me potentially a second contract.
Playoffs?
Maybe as a backup somewhere. Two teams that stick out. I don't know what their cap space are. Number one, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Moving on from Russell Carrington Wilson. I heard Ernest and Kyle talk about they should pick up the phone and call Aaron Rodgers to play there. No, pass. Don't think he'll fit that culture. You got some good pieces there at the wide receiver position as long as George Pickens doesn't throw a temper tantrum midway through the second quarter. And the defense is good enough to stay competitive in that division because of how competitive that division is top to bottom. The second team is the Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh.
I don't know that Geno's the guy there anymore. It worked for the first year that he was there.
It's fizzled a bit. I'm with you there.
It's gotten a little stagnant. It's gotten a little stale. You got Kenneth Walker. You have Zach Charbonnet. You have JSN. You have DK, Tyler Lockett, probably in the last year or two of his career. Your window's right now if you're the Seattle Seahawks. So does Sam Darnold get you more wins than Geno Smith? Because I know they benched him for Drew Lock at some point this year.
Yeah, I mean, you look down the last portion of their season.
Darnold feels like a play that the Giants would make.
They beat San Francisco, Arizona, the Jets, the Cardinals again. Then they lost to the Packers and Vikings, beat the Bears, beat the Rams. Now the Rams had already kind of packed it in
What if the Jets sign him
for Week 18.
That would be hilarious.
See, Sean, that's the team that I kind of have circled for Sam Darnold.
I don't think Seattle can do it. They're negative $11 million, and Geno Smith's cap hit is $44.5 million.
They're out.
Oh boy, yeah,
they're out
through 26. So yeah, pass.
Yeah, they're out. Honest to God, I have, and it's the most hilarious turn of events. I have the New York Jets to me as the front runner for Sam Darnold. Because We know they need a quarterback now. You have a team that is talented on both sides of the ball. So really, you do not need to go out and get a Patrick Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen. You don't have to.
I mean,
Go out
showed if
and
you
get
have
you
wideouts outside for him.
Right. He's a quarterback that, again, I know it feels like he's been in the NFL forever. He's the same age as Joe Burrow. Okay.
Mhm.
Like he's not ancient. He had a really, really good year. You have good pieces. That team started to click by the end of the year. You have Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Brees Hall. Like you have playmakers on that offense. You just need a guy to move the
And
ball
a decent
little bit.
offensive line. I mean, it's not,
Decent.
it
Yeah,
underperformed,
they had
but it's a
retooled
good
it
one.
some. Work on it again this offseason. You have defensive pieces. You have a defensive-minded coach. So, yeah, to me, the Jets.
It's a team that's
actually,
almost built like Minnesota. It's like
Yeah.
a slightly poorer man's Minnesota, but it's
It feels like, and again, it's just funny because he started there, but
did Sam Darnold do better in Minnesota because it's not as flashy, that it's not as much of a spotlight? That would be yet to be seen, but it is an interesting fit. I joked about the Giants and I immediately went, wait, the Jets need a quarterback.
I mean, the Giants could be an option as well. They obviously need a
The
quarterback.
city of New York gets in a bidding war for Sam Darnold.
But like,
that's a perfect scenario.
yeah, I mean,
That's fine.
there's certainly more media attention there, but in the same time, you have guys that are gonna garner more media attention over Sam Darnold. Devontae Adams is there. Let that guy get in front of the media. He's great in front
There's
of
a lot of quarterbacks that would kill to be in a position where they get to throw to Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson on any given play.
Seriously. I mean, it's like it
It's
really
it's them. It's the Higgins.
They have some good young slot guys over there too, like some guys that like have some potential. So
Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard. You got Conklin at tight end.
You just said Alan Lazard. Don't try to squeeze that in there.
He won't be there.
I mean, he probably won't be back.
Brother Ayahuasca will have him playing wide receiver wherever he.
Look me on that. Xavier
Vegas or
Gibson,
wherever he
Malachi Corley.
Yeah, Malachi's one with a lot of hype.
Yeah.
There's like a Xavier, not Hutchinson. That's
Gibson.
not the right name. Gibson, that's the one.
Yeah.
He's got speed.
Yeah, if I'm the Jets, I'm making that call. And if he goes to the Jets, he's the
that's
starter.
Fun.
If he goes to the Jets, he's the starter. If he goes to the Giants,
I think they have money, so yeah, let's do it.
The Jets have $15 million in salary cap availability, but
you can just structure it deep.
But that's with Brother Ayahuasca.
Yeah, Rodgers is off the book. He's going to be off the book.
Oh, you just replace Rodgers with that. You could do that. That's fine.
So speaking of, like I said, we know he'll be on the Pat McAfee show. He will not be on the New York Jets. That's part of the reason why they're going to be moving on. Is his new head coach Aaron Glenn told him none of that this year. You got to buy in, and we see where Rodgers' priority lies.
Well, he's got to cash in while he can.
But looking at where he will. Well, first off, let's start with the question: do you think he plays?
Yes,
Mike.
Oh boy, that's hard.
What's hard about it is that I say yes, but like he's probably not going to play for like a contender. Like I don't think there's any like contenders that are really going to hit on him.
You want to know the funny thing? Let's be real wild.
Or Seattle might.
Here, you want to? I went and did the math, and this is just my take.
Okay.
On the teams that would possibly be in play in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes.
Okay.
Let's go to the AFC East first. None of them.
Nope.
No.
Let's go to the AFC North. If anybody, it's Pittsburgh, but I don't think he fits the culture there.
No, I still think they're going to just cash it. They're going to see what Fields can do. I think that's their play next year.
And they should. He's
and rightly so.
And the only real like Rodgers-esque quarterback or free agent that I could see fitting in Pittsburgh, I could see Tomlin loving coupons. I could see him loving Kirk and bringing him in for a year and maybe still fill in some pieces with Fields.
Right.
And
when I say
but not Rodgers.
When I say Pittsburgh, they're the only team in that division that's even in play.
And that includes Cleveland.
Right, because Cleveland, they already have too much money in a shitty person as a quarterback.
They have the most expensive backup of all time.
AFC South, it's only the Titans.
Yeah,
But also,
Jaguars are sticking to their guns.
When I'm saying yes, what I mean is these are the teams that need to fill a quarterback.
That would immediately be like, you're an upgrade, come play.
Because with Tennessee, you have the number 1 pick.
I'm not saying Tennessee. Tennessee isn't my face.
No. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that he is going to go like this. Isn't
if Tennessee wanted to swing that first pick.
These are teams that have a quarterback spot to take.
Right. And
I think there's another team in the South that has a quarterback spot in play.
Who?
The Indianapolis Colts. That kid can't stay healthy. I'm sorry.
Well, neither can Rodgers.
Yeah, but he was okay. But Rodgers played a full season earlier than Anthony Richardson has because he didn't even play a full season in college.
It's a good point. I don't think Rodgers is the answer, but yeah, maybe the Colts are like a fringe
I'm just saying
play
Jim Irsay likes paying aging quarterbacks. See Rivers, Phillip.
Which actually didn't work out that poorly for him. It didn't work out in the long run. But
for me, if I'm the Colts, maybe
good cousin spot.
Maybe the Colts could be a potential landing spot for Sam Darnold. Yeah, Colts possibly as well. You're right, Mike. AFC West, Raiders only team even with a real opening.
And I don't think Tom Brady wants anybody over 40 doing any type of winning, so I don't think he gives them the green light to go.
Yeah, I don't. Although how ironic would that be? The Jets trade
Brady won't be in a room with Rodgers. That won't work.
the Jets trade for Devontae Adams, and then Rodgers signs in
with the Raiders. I mean, I like it for that storyline, but otherwise, no.
AFC West or NFC West. Seahawks could have been a potential.
Brought up a Seahawks point,
we know they're in cap hell,
but it's probably not going to work.
Depending what Matthew Stafford does. But again, I think the Rams are in cap hell, aren't they?
They're not in great shape at all.
Every team you mentioned where I'm like, that could work. I think like Cousins is a bit. I don't think Rodgers is going anywhere until Cousins signs.
So they have 40. They have 40 million in cap space, and they're just going to open up more once Cup comes off the book.
Okay,
that's a lot of money.
So they have some money.
Their defense is all like 23.
And then if Stafford goes, that's going to open up some as well.
Stafford has a cap hit of 49.6 million, Cup 29.7.
Man, I like that. Rams
over 100 million in free space.
Well, you're definitely going to be. Well, if you trade, hold on, because if you trade Cooper Kupp, there's still some of the dead money that stays on the books.
Gotcha. So even if you put that
not all of it.
Correct. So just a quick trade of Cooper Kupp, their cap goes to 51.7 million.
God, that's a lot of money for.
And then if Stafford goes, that's another 40.
Let's just say Stafford.
Jesus.
We'll just say
that. Going to sign Myles Garrett.
So by doing a quick trade of Matt Stafford, because it doesn't let me do the release, or I mean not release, but like retire. Their cap would go up to $55.1 million in available cap.
So they could be in play for the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes.
Could be.
I still don't think he's the perfect fit of the guys.
No, but here's the thing: we know that the Rams will sell their soul to try to win a Super Bowl
if they have another wideout that comes in. Yeah, I think that.
That NFC South, nobody.
I mean, the team that needs a quarterback can't afford him.
Right,
the Saints.
Correct, because they are in beyond cap purgatory.
Yeah. By the way, I have a Saints point to just throw out in a quick question at the end of our look forward segment.
Okay. NFC North, nobody.
No.
Minnesota.
I mean, Vikings. If Minnesota, they pass
Sam
on
Darnold
as a guy to like.
Here's it: if you're not keeping Darnold, you're turning the keys over to McCarthy. Period.
Well, I think the fear would be if he's not ready to go.
Correct. That's where I was going.
He would want somebody to ease him in.
Nah,
Rodgers is a great mentor, really good guy, friendly fella.
Yeah, he loves.
He can show him how to heal.
He can get him high on the weekdays,
torn
play
ligaments,
on the weekends.
Hit him with some ayahuasca.
Really bond over. Yeah,
I don't
hang out with Joe Rogan on his boat or whatever.
I personally don't see it with Minnesota, but Lord knows they've taken old Packers and Jets quarterbacks.
I was going to say, can we just have the career tree of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre?
It would come full shitty person circle. And last one, NFC East. The only team with the opening is the Giants.
The Giants.
And
that would be a funny storyline as well.
It would be hilarious
to be like the Jets are like F that, and the Giants are like, we have no shame.
And I would love to see the reaction of.
And we played our way out of the quarterback that we wanted. So
I would love to see the reaction of somebody on this show's reaction. Not that he's a Giants fan, but
he's a Chiefs fan anyway. It doesn't matter. Well, he's probably an Eagles fan now.
His reaction
Patriots.
to it. But if I had to guess, just based on that exercise, my guess is the Rams.
It's a
I think Stafford's going to be done.
We said that 2 seasons ago.
I know. Either done or gone. I don't think Stafford plays another year in LA personally.
If John Matthew Stafford becomes available, I sign him before I sign Aaron Rodgers for every team that you just mentioned.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Aaron Rodgers, quarterback next
year, point of their career, and Stafford's a much better locker room.
I kind of feel like if they cut the ties with Stafford, I feel like they're going to they would have had word that Sam Darnold's available, because I feel like he's a great McVay fit. If Stafford goes, I didn't make a committal on the Sam Darnold sweepstakes because I'm just like, go get paid. I think the Rams are going to pay him anything he wants if they cut Matt Stafford.
I would
that's
agree
the
with
landing
that.
spot. Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Aaron Rodgers would be the starting quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders next year in the CFL.
Ooh, that's fun.
I like
probably
that.
just let you smoke ayahuasca on the field there.
Probably. A guy we talked about, Mike, I'll start with you. Who does Cooper Kupp play for next year?
I have 2 teams that I've sat back on when it comes to my Little Pony Cooper Kupp. Number 1, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
Are you saying that based on the fact that T. Higgins is probably not going to be there?
If T. Higgins goes, Kupp comes in, be's the number 2 behind Jamar Chase, helps teach Andre Yoshivas how to be a good slot receiver.
It's a more fun number 2, I think, than T. Higgins, only because I think T. Higgins tries to play his game like he's a number 1. I feel like it just mirrors the other. So having a slot guy would be fun.
So I went there. The other team, it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, gross. Yeah, that feels like it could happen.
Because
they're on my list.
What did we talk about? Drop. Xavier Worthy was probably the only wide receiver that didn't have a costly drop in that game. So you have him as your outside guy. You have Cooper Kupp on the inside. Who?
Even Travis Kelce was a Visine commercial, 2 drops.
So and
I just came up with that. Is that good?
And if he retires, you need someone to help circulate the middle of the field. Cooper Kupp feels like it's the easiest piece. And guess what? It might cost you. The 31st pick in the draft, which we've already talked about, would be a shitty offensive lineman that you don't want to play.
Right.
Why not?
Sean, where does Cooper Kupp land?
Well, that low pick scenario is part of why I kind of feel like the Washington Commanders are also in play on this one. I feel like take some pressure off McLaurin. He gets to be your deep. It's almost like the same scenario you laid out with the Bengals, where they don't have that possession guy. There's a good chance Ertz isn't back. Obviously, I mean, he's not a kid. I think he wants to play, but I'm not sure his body can deal with it. They just had a kid. I feel like he probably walks. But you bring in a guy like Cooper Kupp and maybe a Myles Garrett, and all of a sudden Zach Ertz is like, babe, I think we can win.
I'll see you in week 8.
I'm gonna sit here at home with the kid and then give me a call if we're doing well. So I like the Commanders a lot. I also think the Buccaneers are in play, depending what happens with Chris Godwin.
That's another good one.
I feel like if Godwin, I don't think Godwin wants to go anywhere, but if there's any love for him and somebody that's going to give him some money that maybe Tampa's not willing to do because of some younger McMillan, kind of scenario, I feel like maybe Kupp winds up there. And what was my third team? Well, I had the Chiefs as like a fringe play. I think I had the Steelers as well, kind of in the same kind of realm as the Chiefs, where it's like, especially if you're going to hand it to a younger quarterback, you have your deep hands threat, you have him
when he's on the field.
Well, and I think if you have someone, if you bring in another receiver, I feel like for Pickens, it's not a threat if it's a Cooper Kupp. It's
Correct.
letting him know we're willing to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Right. And to be honest, as much as Fields is capable as a runner, that's what Fields wants to do. He wants a position where he can thrive as a passer. Do I think he has the capability to do it? I'm up in the air a ton. I don't know how good he'll be if he gets a chance to throw, but we won't know. And that's why I think that's my third landing spot with the Chiefs as like a wild card sitting out there.
The Bears feel like a wild card for me.
Bears
as well.
are so much. I mean, if Keenan Allen's really going and all these guys are going, maybe.
Yeah.
I think the Bears are more likely to be in the T. Higgins sweepstakes because they like the flashy play.
Well, the problem with that is they've kind of made DJ Moore the number one there, and I don't think.
And I think T. Higgins,
if he's going to take.
That's true. He would be the Keenan Allen role.
And I think if T's going to do that, I think T almost is like, I'll give the Bengals the hometown discount.
They have.
Right. Yeah. Why come back? Why go somewhere else and do the same thing?
It'd be funny.
Why go somewhere else to be the number two? And if I could just go back to Cincinnati for a little less money and do the same thing.
Because I have the Rams fairly high on a T. Higgins sweepstakes as well.
There you go.
Like they're getting rid of Kupp because they want to bring in like a bigger, taller, that type to go opposite Nakua instead of two of the same. So like I think T. Higgins is like a no-brainer. So that'd be a fun swap.
I mean that was a real talk of like when they were. Oh, what about the Chargers? They have a younger.
They have a younger
Kupp and Ladd McConkey.
They need a big.
He's a Kupp at best. Like he's very good at what he does, but like he's a Wes Welker.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He is a young. He is a younger, fresher version of Cooper Kupp. Why are you going to bring in the same thing?
Survives longer than Wes Welker, but
yeah, they need to go get some big hands.
I have a take for the Chargers of getting big hands.
So L.A. is a great spot for T. Higgins.
By the way,
one of
DK Metcalf.
For who?
As a fringe Charger fan, sign me up for that.
Because
that's got Harbaugh written all over it. That's a big, hefty body to block. Then you just
who's better than us?
Are they going to lose? Are they losing Dobbins? Do you think Dobbins stays, or do you think because I think he's a free agent, right? I think it was a 1 year.
I think he did only sign for 1 year.
I feel like I think you got to try to pay him because I don't think Gus Edwards is any good.
No, I think you try to bring him back for sure.
Aaron Jones, best available running back.
Okay, I mean I would put him ahead of.
I'd put him ahead of Dobbins.
Dobbins, yeah, but
I'm just looking at what it says here on Spotrac. Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, Jeff Wilson, AJ Dillon, Nick Chubb, Javonte Williams, Alexander Madison, J.K. Dobbins is there. No, Dobbins is there.
I thought because everybody threw it, and what killed me is everybody was throwing him in a list with Javonte Williams. Because as soon as you said him, I'm like,
it was because it's broken down per AAV, not where they think they're ranked.
I mean, Dobbins is a guy that's been banged up, but I think you try to bring him back because he was hitting home runs for you early in the year. But yeah, DK Metcalf is real fun.
Try that Nick Chubb guy. See if maybe you can get him behind a pretty decent offensive line and maybe let him run.
Fire Gus Edwards because he's just like Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like both those landing spots. I think we covered all potential Cup landing spots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Three teams,
Washington,
1 cup. You know.
Jesus. God damn it.
So bad.
That's the name of that segment. It's called 3 Teams, 1 Cup.
3 teams, 1 cup.
Look it up
I think Washington's a landing spot. I think a couple potential outliers, wild cards, could potentially be like a Baltimore. They could use another hand in the passing game. Dallas could use another hand in the passing game. Brandon Cooks has moved on, but it's just going to depend on numbers. And I don't know if the Cowboys can afford Cooper Kupp.
And is Kupp a trade or a free agent? Are they trading him?
Trade. It's a trade.
I think they're going to try to work out.
Okay, well then Dallas isn't play because Dallas isn't going to sign any free agents.
No.
Because it require them wanting to play there.
So yeah, I mean, I could see them. I could see them trying to get him in a
Imagine
trade.
anyone trying to sit. Maybe that's why you have a throwaway coach, because like
nobody
Jerry
wants-
Jones is like, you can't convince anyone to come play.
Everybody saw CD Lamb's face on the sideline for 17 games, going, "Why the fuck did I sign? I could have just
CeeDee
held
Lamb
out."
needs to break his own ankle in the preseason.
Son of a bitch.
Pay a doctor to say it's broken and get in a cast for 16 games. And just see what happens.
All right, Sean, we'll go to you. I have two more on my list. I'll open them up to you guys then.
Okay, I'll do them quick.
Number one pick in the 2025 NFL draft will be.
Oof. I was pretty close with my Pats last time. I really thought I had that one. Number one pick, 2025, will be. God, cap troubles, new coach, the New Orleans Saints.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, who will the Titans
Who will be the
take?
player draft?
Oh, you're saying the player in 25.
Yeah.
I heard 2026 because I know we ask that question sometimes, but that's in the preview show. So who are they taking? Oh, well, it's got to be Ward, right? That's where I'm going. I'm going Cam Ward.
Mikey B.
The Tennessee Titans will not make the number one overall selection.
Ooh.
It's not a bad choice. They have enough holes they could easily just swap out.
The Titans will trade with the New York Football Giants down to 3 and acquire extra draft picks in both this year and next year's draft.
Okay.
The
I should have played this.
That was
the
good.
Giants will be on the clock, and with the first overall selection, leading into the Brian Daboll hot seat being a fucking inferno, will be Shadur Sanders.
To move up to take the second
Because
quarterback that will probably be there when you drafted 3.
Because he 100% will be, because my choices would be Cam Ward, and then I think that this was my take about Myles Garrett. The Browns take Myles Garrett light and draft Abdul Carter from Penn State at number 2, meaning that the Giants would have a choice in Travis Hunter or Shadur Sanders at 3. But I'm sorry, do we not know this Giant organization well enough already? Fuck it, we don't want Saquon. Why not give up extra picks to make sure we get Shadur?
Or they panic and draft a running back at 3.
They take
3, baby. Let's go. Cam Scatterboo. No.
Yeah, they
take the wrong one.
They just muck it all up.
Shit.
I say the Giants end up at 1 because I don't think Brian Daboll makes it through the 25-26 season. And then the talks of Coach Prime being the head coach of the New York Giants with his number 1 overall pick son, with Malik Neighbors as their wide receiver number 1 for the 26-27 season, becomes a reality. Because what did Coach Prime say? I'm here to finish my job. Well, guess what, Prime? Your job is
No
not going to be
city he'd rather
your
coach in than New York.
Tell me about it. And he gets to play
The
Jerry
media
twice a year.
capital of the world
There's no city I want Prime to coach in more
than New York.
Because, well, let's be fair, because he ain't going to end up in Philly, because Sirianni just
he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni's going to be there a while.
I would love more than anything else in the world.
Please,
let
New York Giants.
Can you imagine if all of that happens? I will hand off this. I'm going to hold on to my prognosticator prowess because of the rankings that Jim just said. But you don't even have to make picks for next year. You just automatically win.
I'll just.
Shit.
If all of those scenarios come to
and this is no disrespect to Abdul Carter, but at least if the Browns would take him at 2, it wouldn't be the worst roster decision the Cleveland Browns have made in the 2000s.
It's true.
Facts.
It wouldn't be a great decision,
but it would be a very Browns play.
It would be.
We have holes at quarterback and running back and receiver.
Like
and
Abdul Carter is very good. Not gonna lie.
We're losing that pass rusher.
But I want you to go back and look at. The clip of the Jeremiah Love touchdown in the Orange Bowl, and Abdul Carter had a chance to stop him twice, and opted to go for the ball and not the tackle.
That's because he knows he was going to be the second overall pick, baby.
Well, that's true.
Hey, Hey,
the number one pick, I will go with Sean. I will take Cam Ward off the board to Tennessee.
I think Tennessee just cashes that in.
Hey, Jim, can I break some Take 3 Wrestling podcast news on the show?
Sure, why the heck not?
Tonight at NXT, the debut of Absolute Ricky Starks.
Yes, let's go. Let's go. Love that. Love that they capitalized real quick on it. Already the rising star. By the way, to the commenter here, how are you all so fat? We like to eat.
We eat a lot of food.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you have an anime logo. Why do you watch anime?
right, like
because the anime they're not as fat.
Cool.
Because in anime they're not as fat, Mike.
Good job. Good job.
We should have an anime version of this show.
I will say,
anime.
as rude as they came in, did point out the correct goat at quarterback. Last one I have, and maybe the answer for you is there is none. So that is an option. You don't have to make one just to make one. But the biggest surprise of the offseason will be what? Mike, I'll start at you this time.
Biggest surprise. There's a couple here that I could go with.
I have a fun one, but it's not going to happen.
Oh man, this one's hard because there's like a couple of different pieces. I think there's a few like fun ones that I don't know that there's, especially after the last couple off seasons. I don't know that anything is quote surprising.
Tell you one thing, there's one we already hinted at that I think would be super fun. But yeah.
Okay, we'll start while I try to.
Well, I was just saying, like Jim's prediction that Sam Darnold returns to the New York Jets, I think would be a surprise. It's not a huge surprise, but it's a fun.
I would say that would be in the surprise.
That's my realistic half. I haven't
seen anybody talking about it.
My unrealistic half. Now, what would be funny would be a Kirk Cousins then return to Minnesota to mentor JJ McCarthy, which they could have just done the first damn time. But my out of this world ludicrous never going to happen prediction is that Tom Brady just signs himself as a player.
I love that.
And as a player owner starts leading the Raiders into a rebuild because that's where they are.
Actually, and then Fox does all the Raider games and he actually calls his own games.
He calls them from the huddle.
From the helmet?
From inside the huddle.
Helmet. He's talking to you as he's
Tony Romo gets big mad because he never had the chance to do that.
Oh, it'd be hilarious because he'd probably still beat teams while he told them what he was about to do.
Certainly would. Certainly would. At least a couple. My big like probably never going to happen one is that Micah Parsons will not be a Dallas Cowboy to start the new season. He has 1 year left on his deal, and to me, if the Cowboys in any way, shape, or form want to get
if they're going to trade up to number 2 to get Abdul Carter, they're going to have to take some room. Cut him loose.
If the Cowboys want to make any sort of serious headway into retooling that team, that's a piece you can do it with, because there are teams that will trade a lot to get him, and if there's any thought to not re-signing him, get value out of him because he has 1 year left on his rookie deal.
Right, that would be the only. That's why I said don't say zero, because
I think there's
a part of Jerry that understands
possibility.
He could be a draft day piece, like if they
draft day piece, or he could be a mid-season piece. Like
if they want I don't know, Hunter or somebody they've got their eye on that all of a sudden comes within view, and they can jump even if it's 5, 6, 7 spots. By throwing him in there, they're not going to be competitive this year. I mean, right. Jerry has to know that, right? Deep in his heart of hearts.
I don't know. Dak Prescott thinks it's
trash. Never underestimate the stupidity.
We will give you Dak Prescott, the best quarterback in the NFC East, and we will give you Micah Parsons for your draft pick. And the other team will just laugh at them and pick the guy they wanted.
Click.
And then it'll be funny.
I think I figured out my formal prediction.
Cowboys have the 12th pick, by the way.
They get in that top 7 realm.
Let's go Ashton Genty.
Draft
My
the one
formal-
position they actually have a player that
I was
performed
going to
well
say,
at.
I don't.
Rico Dowdle's
They
just like,
would.
the hell, man?
Yeah, it's a very Cowboys.
I'm
move.
the only one that tried.
It's a very Cowboys.
And they're like,
move.
that's your problem. You tried. Have
Right.
fun
Yeah.
playing in the
You wa-
NFC South.
This is what you get.
Yeah,
Where you go.
you won us 2 games and cost us a
You
top.
Have
cost
fun-
us the number 7 we're
Have
trading
fun
for.
rotting on this.
Now we got to go get it. So you're part of the package. Have fun playing there.
My formal prediction: Trent Williams will not play a snap for the San Francisco 49ers in 2025.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah,
It's fun for me because I hate the 49ers. It's ironic because as a kid, when I picked my first team, I was a 49ers fan.
You
I
did.
liked Joe Montana. And then I just got
Oh,
One,
Joe
you had
Montana?
you had the cheat code of Montana to Rice and Tecmo.
the Montana, right? I mean, I'm like a little kid, and your mom hands you a catalog and it's like, pick which jacket you want. And I'm like, isn't this the one that Joe Montana plays? Like, yep, that's the one I want. Then.
And then I always had to counter. The only way I could counter the Niners in that game was the Raiders.
Yeah, it was Niners Raiders, which is
Jackson.
great. When you're picking colors, those are 2 great color schemes.
Two great color
For the
schemes.
record.
And you had the and those were 2 of the teams in the game that had 2 uniform options.
That's true.
They were among the teams that would actually have a white jersey.
You could swap out.
The 2-headed monster of Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen.
And then as I aged, like I just stopped watching the NFL and just watched football on Saturdays, and then moved to Philadelphia and realized that I had to make a choice.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean watching football on Saturday is better than on Sundays anyway. At least for me in the foreseeable future here.
Also, a good answer to why we're fat. There, whoever we enjoy
watch
sitting
football.
Saturday and Sunday. We like sitting both those days.
Here's 2 days where you're not in school sitting. What are you doing? Well, I'm gonna sit.
I'm gonna sit longer than I did the day
I'm
before.
gonna eat and
I'm gonna
then
eat
we got
more
old enough
than I
to
did
drink.
the day before.
Then we can start legally drinking.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Then I'm doing that as well.
Illegally.
12-ounce curls, baby.
Huh.
Yes, sir.
Maybe that's why I'm fat.
Maybe it is why I'm fat. Well,
Yeah.
Thanks, Trishula.
we learned a bit.
Trishula.
Life lesson acquired.
Any other thoughts?
I have one thing to ask, and you don't have to go long-winded.
Okay.
Does Kellen Moore live to regret
Yes.
leaving the offensive coordinator of what looks to be a contender for a while to coach the goddamn Saints?
I'll say yes, and it's not only because you're leaving the Eagles, it's because when you look at, there's a handful of teams in like the bottom 10 to 12 of the NFL that are potentially going to have coaching openings,
Right, coming up
season, next season, that are better jobs than the New Orleans Saints.
Well, and you always have one team in like the top, like I'd say like the 10 to 15 realm that has a trash season and panics.
Yeah.
Right? You have a team that just falls out of like contention and just goes, fire the coach. That'll save my GM job. And then,
I mean, here's the thing: Giants are going to have a new coach after next year. Spoiler alert. Let's see.
Dallas might.
Dallas might. The Panthers could.
Mm-hmm.
If the Bengals don't fucking
The
finish over
Bengals,
500, Zach Taylor.
Close.
the Falcons
Zach Taylor's on the hot
could,
seat.
right?
And let's be honest, guys. I hinted at it before, and we talked about it. The Bills are getting close.
Bills could.
The Buffalo Bills. How long do you wait on Sean McDermott to like get over the speed bump?
I'm sorry,
you
the
go, you're never
Miami
gonna get
Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have
Absolutely.
And they're an offense. I mean, now given you could be walking into a very similar scenario with very little cap space and an aging injured quarterback. I mean, that's where you're at. Like you're going into New Orleans and you're like, well, I have Kamara.
There's
John
there's a
Harbaugh's
world-
been coach of the Ravens for 18 years.
There's a
He's
reality
in
where
his
this
mid 60s.
How
There's a
old
reality
am-
where this is
right
the
now
last
I'm
year of
old
Andy
and
Reid.
fat. I'm
Right.
old and fat now.
I mean, there's a real reality where this is the last year of Andy Reid.
You
Right.
can walk at any time. He's never going to get
So,
fired, but he could walk
That's what I'm
whenever
saying.
he wants.
So he could retire, so the Chiefs'
Yeah,
job
John
can become
Harbaugh,
open.
62. Again, whether or not certain people on this show want to
Man,
talk
it would be
about,
fun. It would be fun if Andy Reid left before Mahomes and did the same thing to Mahomes that Brady did to Belichick, where Mahomes just sucks now. And you're like, oh my God, it was the coach the
It
whole
was the coach the whole
time.
time.
It was Andy Reid.
Yeah,
You
Harbaugh.
stink.
Harbaugh's
Oh,
62.
we suck again.
Harbaugh's 62. He's been there for 18
Is he
years.
really? Are the Harbaughs both in their 60s? Are they like? Which
Yeah.
one's older? I don't even know.
I think John is.
Jim just turned 61 in December.
God,
John just turned 62 in September.
they look better at 61 and 62 than we do now.
Yeah.
Facts.
Well, they're not fat.
Not
Thanks,
fat.
Trish. This is the worst possible.
But
I won the Super Bowl, Trish.
the Steelers, again, we've talked about it for a little while. Like the longer the Steelers go without winning a playoff game, the calls
You could
are
be
gonna get
1
louder.
year from taking over a team that has Justin Fields and TJ Watt on opposite
Right.
sides of the ball.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you went, nah, Saints are fine.
So to me, it's not even Kellen Moore leaving what the Eagles are. It's taking what is one of the worst jobs in the NFL.
Well, and that's the big thing for me. It wasn't so much like you said,
Yeah.
leaving the Eagles. It was like
it's just taking.
it was
the
like
same-
you're in
I
a
think-
situation where, like, if we do the same thing we did this year, you're still going to be doing well.
There's there's a world where Kyle Shanahan
You're
could
not
get
wrong.
fired in San Francisco, even
Yep.
though it's not his fault that they can't stay healthy. Let's be very transparent there. I'm
No,
not saying that-
again, owners and GMs do stupid things.
But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think he'll live to
We're all
regret it. I
kinda
do.
just
I think
like-
he'll live to regret
like
it.
it was,
because-
so we're all. It wasn't a good choice, is what we're
I
saying.
think he'll live.
Correct.
I think he'll live to regret it. Also, from the fact that they're negative $51 million in salary cap space.
It's not good. It's not
Your
good.
your starting quarterback has a no trade clause. Who has those in the NFL anymore?
Derek Carr.
there, he's the last. He's the
That's it.
he's the
He's
last.
the last of the
dying breed.
Mohegan.
Mike,
Anyway.
any other off-season thoughts?
I think
questions?
I just think it's going to be interesting to see the wide receiver market because there are some pieces. Obviously, we've mentioned T. Higgins, we've mentioned Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen will be available. Stephon Diggs is a free agent. There's questions that are going to be answered. I think the wide receiver market's a lot of fun. And which of these guys is going to blow up their team first? Because there's going to be a team that's just going to blow this thing up and trade valuable pieces. New Orleans might be one of them where they just trade everything that isn't Derek Carr because
Can they get?
they
need to
fucking
find a way
can't.
to get Taysom Hill off that book.
Yeah, please do. Let's look that up. I think he is the third highest paid player in the New Orleans Saints. He's making $18.26 million
That's insanity.
to be a gadget player.
Yeah, they either restructure him or get him off that team. That's insane to me.
Sean, you're muted.
You're muted, bud.
I'm here screaming at the screen. I bumped my button again. It's just insane, man. Like, how do you? Like, I get he's been valuable, but he's been valuable because you stink.
That was one of the ideas, but it wasn't a very good one.
Hold on.
He's the Harrison Butker of New Orleans.
Can we have a more serious conversation?
Sure.
How the hell is Taysom Hill 35 years old?
Jesus.
Because
John
for a long time, everybody
John
realized he
Harbaugh
was a
62?
gadget player. Yeah, because everybody's old.
35-year-old
I'll be
gadget guy
40
making
this summer.
39 fucking year old Taysom Hill making a bajillion
I started
dollars.
podcasting in my 20s.
So, oh yeah, this is 100%. Yeah, this is all the Saints' fault. 2021, $1 million. 2022, 1.1. 2023, 1.8. 2024, 1.2. 2025, 10.25 million.
Dumbass.
Like what?
What did he do in that year?
Back loaded.
Wow. Like
Wow.
What
That
the
is
fuck happened?
wow, that's
Yeah, imagine. Yeah, well,
7-year pro out of BYU.
I'd
Undrafted.
imagine for an up-and-coming coordinator to be that the Eagles' job will be a very sought-after one. It will not be one that requires a huge paycheck to
No.
do. Like, you'd be like, hey, do you want to come coach Saquon Barkley and maybe A.J. Brown? And if not, Devontae Smith is also here. We like to spend money and we like to win. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'd like to do that. And then we have one.
God, I feel bad for Kellen Moore now.
I have Mike McCarthy.
I'm legitimately looking at the dead cap money for the New Orleans Saints, not including Taysom Hill and
some good ones.
Marshawn Lattimore, $31 million in dead cap space to go play for the Commanders.
And make the playoffs, by the way.
Jameis Winston, 7.361 to be the backup of Deshaun Watson. Or my favorite. Yeah. We're paying a guy $9.187 million because he can't keep his feet healthy in wide receiver Michael Thomas.
That's not their fault.
No, but you gotta
stop compounding all of these together.
You didn't get him off the books, man. Get him off the books. Like just time to move on.
So the Saints are bad. The Eagles are good, and
Kellen Moore's an idiot.
Okay, good. Well, I think it's a really poor choice.
That's how we go into the off season.